This could be the final chapter for one of gaming's most iconic survivors. After decades of bioterror, global outbreaks, and impossible odds, Leon S. Kennedy is being pulled back in one last time to investigate when a police officer goes missing at a hotel. Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about Resident Evil Requiem, based off of Capcom's latest showcase. I'm Explorer and I cover reviews, analysis, and news on games old and new, and this might be Capcom's most ambitious Resident Evil yet. Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th mainline entry in the survival horror franchise developed by Capcom and currently set to release on February 27, 2026. First revealed at Summer Game Fest 2025, this game marks a major tonal and structural shift for the series, blending classic survival horror with modern action design. The story follows Grace Ashcroft, an FBI intelligence analyst investigating a nationwide string of mysterious deaths. The latest victim is found in the same hotel where her mother was murdered 8 years earlier. When a police officer goes missing at the same hotel, Leon S. Kennedy is dispatched to assist, and as their paths converge, both characters are forced to confront the legacy of Raccoon City and the global consequences that followed. Leon and Grace are dual protagonists with one unified story. You won't replay the entire game twice, like you did in Resident Evil 2. Instead, the narrative shifts perspective, placing you in control of Leon for certain sections and Grace for others. This structure is closer to Resident Evil 6 or Resident Evil 3, where the story flows continuously but changes character and gameplay style along the way. And that design choice is intentional. Capcom is using dual protagonist system to control pacing and emotional tension. Grace's sections are slow, claustrophobic, and survival focused, inspired by Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 7, and Leon's sections lean into high pressure combat and mobility, building on the action horror foundation of Resident Evil 4. By switching between the two, the game creates a deliberate rhythm: tension, release, and then tension again. This is a psychological loop designed to keep players constantly on edge. When playing as Leon, the focus is on strategic action horror. Combat is faster but also more demanding. Leon can parry enemy attacks using his hatchet, pick up and use enemy weapons, and chain combat encounters more aggressively. But this isn't mindless action. Enemies need to be weakened and read carefully, pushing the player to engage more thoughtfully than in Resident Evil 4. Positioning, timing, and enemy behavior all matter. Grace's gameplay is the opposite, and this contrast is key. Her sections emphasize tight environments, limited resources, puzzle solving and stealth, and psychological horror over combat. Armed primarily with a single high-caliber weapon called the Requiem, every encounter carries risk. Resources are scarce, and engaging enemies without a plan can be catastrophic. This will feel immediately familiar to fans of classic survival horror. The crafting system has been significantly expanded. One standout mechanic is the use of specialized injectors that require inflicted blood. These injections prevent corpses from mutating, enable stealth-based progression, and encourage strategic enemy takedowns instead of avoidance. This adds an important layer of decision-making, especially during Grace's sections. Enemies in Resident Evil Requiem are no longer just obstacles. Capcom have designed them to retain behavioral traits from their past lives, meaning their movements, habits, and routines can hint at who they once were. Careful observation becomes a survival tool, rewarding players who read their environment instead of rushing in. Resident Evil Requiem supports both first-person and third-person perspectives across both protagonists. First-person offers maximum immersion and fear, and third-person provides better situational awareness and cinematic combat. Difficulty options include casual mode for newcomers, standard modern for balanced play, and standard classic featuring higher difficulty and limited saves using increments, especially during Grace's sections. Resident Evil Requiem isn't just another sequel. It feels like Capcom's re-examining what Resident Evil is and what it can become. If this is truly Leon Kennedy's final mission, it's shaping up to be one of the most ambitious and emotionally charged entries in the franchise. If you want more upcoming horror and narrative-driven games, check out my top 10 games releasing in 2026 live on my channel right now. And I'll see you in the next one.